Hey Override, what do you think of the new paint scheme and accessories? Not bad, little bud. But you got some growing up to do if you're ever gonna be up to my speed. I thought that was the coolest look. I'll show her. One day I'll be the fastest bot there is. Now that is hot. Toasty! Okay. I see what you did here. We skipped Energon altogether. Fine. That's fine. I'm not salty about that at all. Hashtag justice for landmine.
I will remember you.
Right, Energon had some amazing figures. I know people don't like the story, but do we really need to be jumping from Armada to Cybertron every single time? But I digress. We're here, yet again, for HOTSHOT. I'm like Hot Rod, Bumblebee, and Cheetah in one not quite as cool guy. I'm a reverse Gestalt. I know the Cybertron world kind of apparently in Galaxy Force is like a parallel dimension, sort of adjacent to the rest of the Unicron trilogy, but in the West it was kind of all mixed together into one thing. But it's still kind of weird to me that he had all that growth in Energon, became much more awkward looking, but then regressed to his, teenage, hothead, hot rod, hotshot self for Cybertron. Though I gotta admit, of the three, this is by far the coolest design. Apps and sculpt wise, he's looking pretty cool. The colors really pop. He does look the business, but I'm not sure exactly what's going on with these shoulders. They're way too high. It's another bot who's got that holding a cat under the armpits dealio going on. Not as egregious as some, but, they could still be mounted a little lower, right? Surely. Just add some extra transformy bits to it. So whilst this is a pretty faithful update, I'm going to do something I don't normally do. And before we get into anything else, I'm going to jump straight to the key comparison. Because I think with this version of HOTSHOT, the real question is he actually cooler than the Cybertron Galaxy Force mold? And to be honest, I think the answer is no. Right? When looking at this update, this chest is so narrow and uninspired compared to the deep V that you're rocking on the original. This area in here all feels so underdeveloped compared to the split that you just get in the car mode there for this arm articulation. Admittedly, the backpack on the original is a lot more cumbersome and it does get in the way a lot more than this one, and it is nice that the updates actually tabs in so it's not slip sliding all over the place. But they didn't fix his weird little arms in any way, shape or form. And the legs have so much more attitude when they don't have that tiny little booty poking out. But enough on that, let's quickly judge this guy on his own merits, shall we? Twist, bend, hand articulation that you can't quite get to. Doors that do come off if you'd like a cleaner look to the arms. Which in this version I do think helps it, but it's not something that I really want to do too often. We're not about the parts forming. And not to keep being this guy, but like at least the original had sculpted plastic hot rod guns there. Waist swivel, welcome addition, twisty thigh, bendy knee, tilt, no space filler, ugly. He's got a bit of forward toe, so he can do some runners, races, starts. But he integrated hip skirts. I love it. He just doesn't feel as primo as you kind of expect these updates to become. Like the Override update was incredible. But even these tampos, on the blue plastic, it's not quite heavy enough and they're almost coming off green. They've somehow managed to take what was a pretty memorable design and nerf it into a kind of skinny, hollow nightmare. I guess this guy has some extra articulation going for him in his favor, but a ball jointed elbow is kind of pretty well as good as a hinge and a bicep swivel. This figure, it was always strange how far the doors came down past his hands, but they didn't super fix that here. And the original has those cool tapered wrists, tapered bicep. Look at this string bean. And as for the shoulders, I still think the original did it much, much cooler. From the waist down is a little bit of a different story. The original didn't have the waist swivel that this guy has, didn't have the thigh swivel, And I guess he's got extra head articulation, but the of it doesn't super make it worth it. He can throw some cooler shapes slightly compared to just the lefty-righty of this guy, but the original's light blue eyes with crystalline visor give you so much more personality than this dour looking dude. Also, what's with that chin strap? I remember it being more of a goatee affair than this. I mean, the sculpt is awesome. It is an awesome sculpt update. Look at those cheekbones and those lips. It looks like the original was bulking, and then the update decided it was time to shred, and post shred I think everyone was like, dude, you looked better with a bit more mass.
Try and move me, bro!
I mean, looking at them, it's a little bit like Octagon ready Conor McGregor versus Roadhouse remake Conor McGregor. And given that, you know, if you're watching these videos, most of your figures probably spend most of their life just posed out on a shelf looking cool. Who has the better shelf presence here? I don't think it's the update. Gotta say, I'm a little bit
disappointed!
What I will say in this guy's favor, right, is once you get to posing him out, that's where this mold really comes alive. As soon as you start throwing shapes with this guy, you can feel the hotshot in him. And in that way, he does manage to capture the character more than the original does. So, accessory-wise, we get a Cyber Planet key, the Speed Planet, which you can go ahead and tab in up here, which will activate his Hot Rod cosplay. I think it's a bummer that it's not see-through plastic. I don't like them red, to be honest. When you had, like, obviously on the sprue, on the molds, they had see-through plastic pieces. Surely they could have fit these on. And then you get a pretty good see-through plastic approximation of his original gun. But try as I might, I can't really see anywhere that the Cyber Planet key can plug into that. Maybe that was just a Starscream thing that they did. It's look, it was a bad looking gun in the past, and it's a bad looking gun in the present. So look, I know I've been hating on this guy a little bit, which isn't really, you know, customary for my channel, but I do love anytime they throw a little attention to the Unicron trilogy. Like, it's fantastic. So you know, let's do a group shot of everyone we got so far, shall we? We've got Override. We can all remember way back to the dawn of the new era with Siege when we got Galaxy Force, Optimus. We've obviously got, which I still maintain is one of the figures of the year by way of Starscream. And I'm pretty sure that's it. I don't think we've had anyone else from Galaxy Force. Oh my. Oh yeah, sorry. This is some pretty decent representation, but I really want someone from the Jungle Planet. Snarl would be a good start, but come on. How much do you want to see Cybertron Scourge? And just for shiggity gigs, here he is with a plethora of hotshots that I had on hand. Just as a quick aside, how much do you want to see like a new version of this hotshot? Alright, so let us go ahead and have a look at his transformation. So, first, legs open. Down inside. Close them up, click them together. Come around the back, untab that bit from the head, twist this whole assembly around, fold his head away. Take those shoulders, give him the pincer grip, take those feet, close them up, toes away, fold them back out, finish the look. Hinge this whole assembly backwards, clip in that windshield. Arms in and just bojangle till stuff clicks. And there you have him. Just as simple as the original. Right, still just a guy squatting down essentially. But somehow this figure manages to be so much more elegant than this one. And I don't know about you guys, but I miss painted mags, right? How far does it go to completing the look? Hello! I know he's a bit smaller and they don't do as much nowadays. Look, the OG had a cockpit. Is it still a cockpit when it's cars? Seats? It had seats. Other quibbles aside, it is still a very cool car. He rolls really well. So look, if you don't have the original release of this figure, this update is still pretty cool. If the original didn't exist or you didn't have it, I can imagine getting this and still be pretty pleased with what you've got. But in terms of, you know, being a trailer queen shelf beauty, I think the original still looks cooler on your shelf. So I guess if you're a diorama dude, this would be the way to go. But otherwise, I don't know. I can't believe I'm coming down on the side of the original. He does move cooler. His articulation is definitely better. His sculpt a little deeper. I understand that modern figures go for articulation over gimmickry, but given that the original had to fit in the gimmickry and the show models were based so closely off those figures, a lot of the things that were like a detriment to that toy are still present here to match the animation model. And that's sad to say, because I was really looking forward to this one. He's kind of like the new Coke of Transformers. People will pick him up, but watch him, you know, drive up the aftermarket price of classic Coke as everyone gets nostalgic for what was, in some instances, a better time. You know, I hate to end anything on a down note.
Here's a song. Turn around, every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming round. Turn around, bright eyes, every now and then I fall apart. And I need you more tonight, and I need you more than ever, and you'll only be making it right, and we'll be holding on forever.
What do you all think? Be sure to let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Let's talk this one out. It's a tough one. It's a really tough call. Do you think this new one's better? Will you be sticking with the old one? Are you going to get both because, you know, you're locked in and that plastic addiction is really hard to fight? Let me know. And until the next one, be sure to hit me up in the comments, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Catch.